Welcome back to Framingham Now. I am joined with one of the other candidates for those two at-large seats, Cheryl Stully-Stoll. Welcome so much to the show.
Thanks, Jack.
So I think people have had a chance to get to know you over the years, but for those watching at home, who are you and why are you running?
Who am I? I am a Framingham resident. I grew up here. Went to the Framingham Public Schools, got my bachelor's in economics from Framingham State College and MBA from Bentley, and have been back here. I left for a couple of years professionally and then have been back for about 18 years. Served on numerous boards and panels for the last 35 years, for nonprofits and school and town related things, and ran for selectman for the first time 3 years ago.
And you're now serving as the chair still, correct?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yep, just got reelected the night I became a lame duck when we changed the form of government.
Well, now you have election season upon you, and
it has never stopped.
so you are running for one of the two open, or the at-large seats.
Correct.
So Framingham will have an 11-person city council. 9 of those seats will be district-specific, and then 2 of the seats are at-large. So
citywide.
you are citywide. So you are running against a couple other people. So I think we've said before, the September primary will narrow the poll down to 4, and then the November election will narrow it down to 2.
Yeah.
So what are some of the issues you're running on? You've been involved in town politics for many years, but this new form of government gives you a new opportunity to advocate for new issues, and I'm curious what those might be.
Well, one of them is I want to see people in Framingham working together. So I'm not really running against anybody. I'm running for a seat. And I'm running for that seat to give everyone in Framingham a voice. I've spent the last 3 years representing people, and there are populations within Framingham or groups within Framingham who haven't had the opportunity to have their message articulated. And one of the things I'd like to see happen as we move forward is that this new city council, this first group of people who take over the government, the new government, we're all being elected at once, or they're all being elected if I don't get elected. But that group is going to set the tone for the future for this community, how people are treated, what procedures are going to be followed at council meetings. Are we going to allow citizens to easily get things on the agenda? Are we going to allow citizens to speak during an agenda item or just during a prescribed portion of a meeting? How much input will we get from the community? And that goes for business owners too. So if somebody owns a business in Framingham, they certainly should be coming to council meetings, and I believe everyone should have the opportunity to engage. And that I want to see a council that's setting a tone and setting precedents and traditions and things that will carry forward to be inclusive and representative of the people of Framingham and let them articulate their own voice when they can.
Excellent. I know one of the issues that we talked about when you ran most recently for your current, as you put it, lame duck term on the Board of Selectmen is how the town and soon-to-be city of Framingham can be most welcoming of the diverse immigrant population that we have here in Framingham. And towns like Newton and Marlborough have explored designations and new laws in order to make the local immigrant community or help the local immigrant community feel more safe and secure. I'm curious, if you're elected to City Council, are there policies that you would be comfortable exploring or interested in exploring in your new role towards that goal?
Well, I do support the State Safe Communities Act. I think that does a lot of things, not only for immigrants. I mean, the fact that somebody even wants to keep a registry of people of a certain religion, I find horrifying. And what we haven't learned from the past, I have no idea what we're going to learn from the present, but it is, I find that whole concept very frightening. And the fact that, that we need a piece of legislation that includes that and other protections for immigrants and other disadvantaged and disenfranchised folks concerns me. The issue regarding Framingham becoming a sanctuary city has certainly been discussed multiple times. Framingham already has those attributes. We have been a welcoming community. We don't arrest people on immigration issues. We don't have the manpower to do that. So I don't support putting a label on something that's already taking place when that label would just be putting a target on the backs of the people that we want to feel safe, and we put a target on the backs of the federal funding that runs our government. So I fully, support our immigrant community, but I'm not going to take a political stand, to make myself feel good. That's going to jeopardize them and jeopardize the funding of everybody in Framingham. I think that would be pointless.
Okay. Let's change gears a little bit and talk about schools. I know it's something that our public schools have been something that you've talked highly about in the past, and are proud of the work you've done to strengthen them over the years.
Yeah.
In your new role, if you're elected to one of these at-large positions, what would you see your role being as it relates to making sure that our Framingham Public Schools continue to be the stellar places of learning that they've definitely become?
Yeah, they really are. We get dinged because of the leveling system that the state uses, but then you get up into the high school level, and our kids are graduating and going to first-class colleges around the country and around the world. So we have a very strong school system, and we need to keep it that way. And we also need to make sure that while we're keeping up with the times regarding STEM and science, technology, engineering, and math, which is absolutely where the future is going, we don't forget the arts. So I look at STEAM, I don't look at STEM, because I think we lose all of the right brain kids when we start focusing on all left brain activities. So we need to stay current. We also need to remember what it takes to make a well-rounded human being, and what things stimulate kids and keep them engaged. Different kids are into different things. Some kids play sports, some kids like drama. Some kids will like team sports, or other kids like individual sports. We're a large enough community that we have the ability to offer that diversity in our programming, in our recreational programming especially. And I would fight to make sure that we continue to do that, so that we keep our kids not only having an opportunity to learn academically, but also learn themselves and their own strengths and talents, so that they can play to them in their future lives.
Well, excellent. I think I asked you the same question when we sat around this table last time. I try to ask it to all of my guests on this program. Framingham is a town that we have all both chosen to continue to make our home. And not a lot of people have chosen to have that same level of involvement that you have when it comes to being so involved and running for positions. But you putting yourself out there to run for one of these at-large seats this time shows a level of commitment that not everyone in Framingham is able or willing to do. And I believe that that's at least partially related to something about the town that we have chosen to call our home, Framingham. And I'm hopeful that you can talk a little bit about, what is it about Framingham that has made it not only the town that you continue to call home, but a town that you are willing and interested in making those necessary sacrifices for as you run for elected office and up until this point have held elected office.
What does it make Framingham special? Everything. Our people especially. We have got, you look at this community and all the services we offer and the programs we offer, and look at all the extracurricular activities in the summer for kids, the baseball leagues, the things the parks offer. This was a great place to grow up. And we had, different, at the time we had General Motors, and now we have Bose and Genzyme. I mean, we've been able to kind of, move with the times and, provide a great quality of life for people. And I think one of the things that's so great about Framingham is our volunteers. I don't see the level of volunteers. I mean, we've got, our Medical Reserve Corps, our Rotary, what they contribute back to the community. Our government has been a volunteer government, and we've had a great town. And I think we'll be a great city too, and most of the city will be volunteer. Those kinds of things, volunteer with stipends, but those types of things are really important. And people being engaged in the community, I think, is one of the things that makes it so special, because it feels like a community. I mean, we're pretty big. We're 25 square miles, and 70,000+ people. And you go somewhere, and usually you're going to know somebody when you're out and about and at a community event, because we have so many different places where people interact. So I think that's one of the things that's special, and that's one of the things as a counselor that I think having the districts, the separate districts, people are going to start getting re-engaged with their neighbors again. When we lost the district elementary schools and took on school choice, which we did at the time, because we were forced to. We lost the sense of neighborhood in some areas. And this gives us a reason to bring that back. And it gives us a reason to start re-engaging people in not only their direct neighborhood and their community, but also hopefully in our government and what we do as a town, because people will be more engaged in everything else. And that's one of the things that I've always loved about Framingham is it's a great place with great people.
Excellent. Well, I think that's a great note to end on. Cheryl Stully-Stoll is running for one of the 2 at-large city councilor positions. This fall in September, as we had said before, Framingham residents will have a chance to go to the polls and elect our first mayor and our first city council, a group made up of 11 people. The great majority of those people, 9 of them, will represent districts, which will include 2 precincts, a precinct where you live and a neighboring precinct, which that person will be tasked with representing you and your immediate neighborhood. And then there will be 2 seats. One of them, Cheryl, and the others are running for, that will be tasked with representing the entire town to the best of their ability. And those 2 people and the mayor will really be the ones who will have that great responsibility. And I am so grateful, Cheryl, that you've taken the time to come on the show. I'm grateful to the other guests. And I really urge you over the next several months, as these people knock on your door, as they hold signs, as you start seeing their names around town, to take time to reach out to them, get to know them, ask them questions, and come September, I hope you vote in the primary and help us decide the future of Framingham. Until next time, thank you.